The film takes place in the near future and follows two sisters, Eva and Nell, who live with their father in a remote cabin deep in the woods. Eva dreams of becoming a professional dancer, while Nell is a bright bookworm hoping to get accepted into an Ivy League school. Because the family lives so far from town, their dad keeps the house stocked with all kinds of survival and self-help books. One day, while the father is reading, breaking news interrupts the TV broadcast. A massive power outage is spreading across the entire West Coast. Moments later, the power goes out in their cabin as well, and Nell suddenly loses all phone signal. Now forced to study using physical books, Nell heads outside to grab a flashlight from the car. But after opening the trunk, she forgets to close it properly. The car lights stay on the entire night, draining the battery completely. The next morning, as they prepare to drive into town for fuel, they discover the car won't start. Their father digs out a spare battery, while Nell turns on the radio. The reporter explains that the nearest power plant has shut down due to an emergency. Soon, rumors spread that terrorists are attempting to take over the facility, and nearly 300 million people are now living without power. The government urges everyone to stay home and conserve resources. A few days later, every radio station goes silent. 10 days pass with still no electricity. Finally, the father comes up with a clever idea. Using a chainsaw, he manages to jumpstart the car. The family heads into the city for supplies, noticing how strangely quiet and empty the houses along the road have become. Even the gas station they pass is bone dry. At the grocery store, most shelves are nearly empty. The employee, Stan, stands guard with a rifle, warning them that looters have been trying to raid the store. Staying calm, the father gathers food with his daughters. They buy what they can, plus 5 gallons of fuel. Before they leave, Stan hands them a box of free items and asks if they plan to abandon town, but the father says they're staying put. Later, he drops the girls off as usual. Eva attends dance practice for an upcoming national audition, while Nell spends time with her boyfriend, Eli, at a small party. It's the happiest she's felt in days. That night, the father picks them up and begins the drive home. But deep in the woods, they spot a car pulled over with a man screaming inside. When their father tries to help, 2 armed men emerge from the darkness, forcing him to retreat into the car. He drives away immediately, unsure what those men were doing there. By the time they reach home, their fuel tank is nearly empty. The next day, the family settles into a survival routine. With no power and no reliable news, the father fears society may be collapsing. He announces they won't be heading into town anymore. They have water, chickens, and plenty of forest resources to live on. But Nell disagrees. She wants to see Eli again. That afternoon, the father enters the woods to cut down a tree for firewood. Suddenly, he slips and slices into his thigh with a chainsaw. His scream echoes through the forest. Eva and Nell rush to him, wrapping a belt around his leg to slow the bleeding, but he has already lost too much blood. He tells his daughters to look after each other and keep loving one another, but Eva begs him to stop talking. They stay by his side until nightfall, when he quietly passes away. The sisters bury him the next morning, overwhelmed with grief. Their mother died when they were children, and their father had been everything to them. Now all they have is each other. They mourn for days as they slowly adjust to life without him. 2 months later, the sisters have grown more accustomed to their situation. They ration food carefully and survive on eggs from their chickens. Tired of living without technology, Eva begs Nell to use the last 5 gallons of gas to power the generator so they can watch old videos of their parents. But Nell refuses, reminding her that fuel is precious. It takes 4 gallons just to drive to town and back. Eva gives up angrily, and the sisters don't speak for the rest of the day. The next morning, Nell discovers their entire flock of chickens is gone, likely snatched by a fox. With no eggs left, she prepares a simple breakfast of grain and barbecue sauce. Eva, still frustrated from the day before, refuses to talk. That night, Nell wakes to find Eva missing. Terrified, she runs into the woods, hearing a horrifying shriek. She panics, convinced Eva is in danger, only to wake up in her bed.
It was just a nightmare.
Eva comforts her, realizing how much they truly depend on each other. The next day, Nell finds a Kinder Egg and eats it immediately, craving a sense of normalcy. When Eva finds out, she becomes furious, expecting her sister to share. But suddenly, a knock on the door interrupts them. Nell grabs their father's rifle and cautiously checks who it is. It's Eli, her boyfriend, who she hasn't seen in months. He admits he's been drifting from place to place and asks if he can stay for a few days. Nell happily welcomes him, and the two spend the next several days quietly enjoying each other's company. The next morning, Nell takes Eli to her secret spot, a huge hollow tree where they can hide inside. There, the two become intimate. However, Eli's sudden presence irritates Eva. She believes he's eating through their limited supplies and fears Nell might get pregnant. Nell tries to reassure her, but Eva remains uneasy. The following day, Eli finally explains why he traveled so far to find Nell. He wanted to be sure she was the love of his life, and now that he is, he asks her to come with him to Boston. He's heard rumors of a functioning society there, with electricity and jobs. Excited, Nell agrees. But when they tell Eva, she refuses to go. Eva insists those rumors might be false, and an 8-month walk to Boston is far too dangerous. The next morning, the sisters say goodbye. Nell cries, reminding Eva that they're the only family each other has left. Eva tells her they both made their own choices, and no one is at fault. After they separate, Eva tries to distract herself by dancing, but breaks down, still hurting over her sister's departure. Meanwhile, Nell and Eli camp for the night. But as Nell lies awake, she realizes she can't abandon Eva. Not after their father told them to care for one another. The next morning, Nell tells Eli she has to go back. He understands, but insists he must continue his journey alone. Nell rushes home, and the sisters happily reunite. 6 months into the blackout, the sisters find a book about wild plants and begin gathering berries and vegetables to store for winter. With supplies low, they even use leaves as toilet paper. One night, Nell is in high spirits and opens a bottle of liquor. The sisters decide to use some fuel to run the generator for a short while. They make popcorn, watch old family videos, and laugh as Eva dances until the power cuts off again. The next day, Nell heads out to collect berries while Eva stays behind to chop firewood. Suddenly, Stan, the grocery store worker, approaches her. Pretending to be friendly, he catches Eva off guard and violently assaults her. Afterward, he steals their gas and drives off in their car. When Nell returns, she finds Eva traumatized and helps her clean up. Eva immediately takes a Plan B pill, while Nell spends the next days boarding up the house to keep Stan from returning. She even runs the generator to play music, hoping to lift Eva's spirits, but nothing helps. 2 months pass. The sisters haven't left the house since the attack, and food is nearly gone. While searching for supplies, Nell finds a note from their father, or so she thinks. Instead, they find packets of seeds, which Nell decides to plant. During the process, she injures her back, trying to lift a heavy rock. Eva is forced to confront her trauma and rush outside to help her. Later inside, Eva breaks down, admitting that even seeing the wood-cutting area sends her into panic. Nell comforts her, and the sisters sleep side by side. The next morning, Eva wakes up vomiting. After researching in their books, they discover the truth. She's pregnant. Nell suggests ending it, but Eva insists on keeping the baby. 7 months pass. Nell studies pregnancy nonstop and learns Eva needs vitamin B12, which only comes from meat. Forced to hunt, Nell climbs a tree, aims at a hog, and fires. Having never shot a rifle before, the recoil knocks her down, but she's not injured. She manages to kill the hog and bring home the meat. That night, the sisters enjoy pork and berries. When Eva notices the smell of smoke outside, someone might be camping nearby. Alarmed, they seal the house as a storm suddenly strikes. Days pass with heavy rain and thunder. One morning, they wake to a loud crash. The ceiling is collapsing. At the same moment, Eva goes into labor. Knowing the house is unsafe, the sisters flee to an old treehouse Nell used as a kid. There, Nell helps Eva give birth to a healthy baby boy. They wait out the storm and celebrate the newborn's arrival. When they return home, the structure is barely standing, and black mold has spread everywhere. It's no longer safe. Eva then makes a bold suggestion. Burn the house down. If they leave it intact, Stan or others could return and take it. But if it's nothing but ash, Stan will believe they're dead, giving them a better chance at safety. Nell hesitates, packing sentimental items first, but eventually agrees. That night, the sisters set their childhood home on fire and watch it burn. From now on, they'll live the way people did centuries ago, surviving off the land, raising the baby, and depending solely on each other. The movie ends with them walking into the deep forest, setting up their first camp as a family of 3. So that's it. Hope you enjoy the story. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos.